Hi guys, welcome to the next Alex T. Jones Racing Podcast. Today, I've got the legendary Max Coates with me today. How are you today, Max?
Yeah, really good, thank you. We've been flying around Snetterton all day, and we're off to Donington Park. So, yeah, life's good.
Awesome, and I wanted to congratulate you on your Porsche win in the second race on Sunday.
Thank you. Yeah, it was certainly a very good end to the weekend at Thruxton, and yes, lights the flag. Got a bit. Won two other Porsche races and or Porsche Travel Cup races, as well as a few in Sprint Challenge and stuff. But this one was I'd say a little bit more special because I started from pole as a result of the qualifying session rather than kind of inheriting pole from a reverse grid race, which is how I'd kind of come to be to win the other two. So this one felt slightly more earned than the others, and that was certainly a really good thing.
Because I wasn't able to watch the race on Sunday, but I watched the race last night. I was like, get in there.
yeah. I kind of knew that as long as I got through the first couple of corners, I felt like I would have a bit of a pace advantage, which I did, which is great. So yeah, once I kind of got through the first couple of corners, broke away, and just got my head down and tried to disappear off the road in the first 2 or 3 laps, and then it was, I wouldn't say easy, but it was just a case of not making any mistakes for half an hour and keeping on stroking it home to bring it for a win. So the hard bit was kind of getting to the front, staying at the front in the first couple of corners, and then after that it was relatively a relatively straightforward race. But in reality, the only guy that was probably going to beat me in that race was myself. So it's just a case of keeping on it, no mistakes, and it should kind of come together. So and that's we had a new set of tyres saved for that race, where everybody else on the grid had already used theirs through the weekend. So I'd paid the price in other races, but for that one I knew I was going to be a little bit more pacey, certainly in the first couple of laps than everybody else, if I could get some clear space, and that was exactly it.
Yeah, because watching the race, you were definitely in control, and I'm one of the few drivers who haven't been able to do Thruxton, and it's the same for a lot of, I'd say, anyone who's not on the touring car paddock, who've not raced it.
Yeah.
But I can imagine for the likes of yourself and anyone who's done it, you must be almost winging it going through Church Corner.
I would say that Church is not the hardest corner. Certainly, I don't find it the hardest corner. Actually, I think once you kind of got your line and what you're doing, it's fast. Don't get me wrong. We're 137 mile an hour minimum speed through that, so you're not hanging about, but you've got plenty of space. Cab, not really tested to run off too much in a Porsche, but like you're all right. Where somewhere like Noble and Goodwood, that's tough. You're using the full width of the road, the car's bouncing around, you're still at a similar kind of speed, still like 135, 137, something like that through. So, something like that is really tough because it's so blind on entry, so bouncy, and it can change. You're kind of feeling in the car can change midway through, and then you're a bit of a passenger. So I'd say Church actually is perhaps an easier corner to do. And technically speaking, I would say that like the approach to the first complex is really tough because you're on a big kink, and then the first couple of corners is really tough. Big curbs that you've got to try and strike in the right way, and Church is probably the fastest corner on the track, but it's not necessarily the most difficult to do.
Fairs, because I'd love to do Thruxton one day. It just depends if I ever get the chance. But yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, but
it's a great track. It's very abrasive. So tyre wear and sort of performance in qualifying is tough. But yeah, it's one that certainly tests the limits of driver and car.
Definitely. So, Matt, for any of our viewers who don't know, Max has been racing for a long time. He started in Ginetta Juniors in, was it 2012 or 2013, Max?
So it was, sorry about that. It's a fire engine going past. It was 2010 when I started in Ginetta Juniors. So
that's it.
Yeah, 16 years ago. So it's a long time.
Long time. And you were there for a few years, and then I bumped into you. I think, was it in your second or third Ginetta Junior day at Brands? I think it was 2011. I think it was. We first met in the paddock.
Yeah, could well have been. Yeah, Brands Indy would have been early on in the season then. So yeah, that was more than likely our first meeting point. So yeah, it was fresh-faced little guy then with full complement of hair, and now I'm a bit more weathered and experienced. But yeah, we're still loving it just as much as I did back then.
And Max has won a few championships along the way, including not just the Ginetta Juniors, he's won at Clio's as well. And eventually gone into the Porsche Sprint Cup Challenge 2 years ago. And then first year in the Porsche Carrera Cup last year and this year as well.
Yeah, that's right. So 2 years of Ginetta Juniors, in short, 2 years of Ginetta Juniors, then 3 years spent effectively doing a year's worth of racing between Ginetta in Ginetta Super Cup, so the G50 and G55 variant, a round of British touring cars and a round of Porsche Carrera Cup. And then from there, I got into Clio's, did 4 years of Clio's, 3 years of Minis, 2 years in Porsche Sprint Challenge, and now into my second year in Carrera Cup. So, along the way, I've also raced in the smaller Minis that you see on the tow package sometimes, the little Coopers. I've done the GT5 Challenge when that's been on as a support race as well. So I don't think there's anybody who's done, as far as I'm aware, nobody's done more different TOCA support championship races than me, not competed in more different classes. And yeah, very fortunate to have won at every circuit that we race on the TOCA package. So yeah, I think that's quite a cool little accolade. And yeah, some others can say that they've won at every track, but saying you've raced in more different championships than anybody else is something that nobody else can. So that is definitely cool.
Because you are a very quick driver and you can put yourself into any car and you are going to be rapid in any car, mate.
I'd like to think so. I mean, I've not had massive experience in anything with slicks and wings. So, I've not done anything of single seater variety, and I've not done anything quicker than a Porsche Carrera Cup car. So, one day I'd like to get a go in a proper GT3. That would be really cool. And I'd love to have a go in a single seater at some point just to sort of test myself. But other than that, I've got experience across the board from slow cars to fast cars, front engine, rear engine, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, big, heavy, slow, light, whatever. So I'd like to think I've pretty much done a lot anyway. Not at all, but I've done a lot of different stuff. So I think it does make me quite a well-rounded driver and give me a lot of understanding of different vehicles and how they work and how to get the most out of them, really. So it's that's handy in day-to-day work doing driving coaching.
Yes, and you've been doing driver coaching since, if my memory is right, didn't you qualify in 2017 or 2018 as an ARDS coach, or am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, it'll be some. To be honest, it's that long ago I can't remember. So, yeah, I've definitely been doing it for a while. So, and probably, well, definitely doing bits of the sort of experience day instructing wherever I could, prior to that. So yeah, when it comes to being in car and that sort of thing, then I've definitely done my fair share so far.
And have you still got the team, your own team in the Clio as well? In the
Yeah, yeah. We still have the team. We're just not racing the Clios at the moment. So we won the Britcar Trophy Championship in 2024 with the Clios, which is fantastic. But they just kind of run their course within the championship, and yeah, so we're not using them anymore. We still sort of operate the team in a small capacity, looking after some customers that we had then, and they at the moment they're just doing some track days in a Ginetta. But we'll look to go racing again either later this year or into next year. So the team's still there. It's just not quite as active as it once was, and we're now sort of no longer racing the Clios, but we'll move on to something pretty cool next year, I hope, with that.
That'd be awesome to see your team out in something else.
Thank you. Yeah, not sure what we'll do, but yeah, the plan is to do something.
You should get like maybe a Porsche if you could, but I know how expensive they are.
Yeah, I think that would be a really great next step, to be honest. The Porsche Caymans that are running out of time within the series, within this sort of challenge this year, would be a great car for the guys next year. So we'll see if that's something that's possible, and maybe look to do that.
That'd be awesome if you can.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Yes, my brain just stopped working.
That's okay. No problem.
Yeah, I was just going to say about this year in particular with your Porsche racing. Would you say, with the Porsches compared to everything else you've driven, would you say the Porsche is more impressive than the majority of other cars you've driven?
Yeah, I think to me, I know this might sound a bit crazy, but the car that they're probably the most similar to is actually the Clio Cup car. So and by that, it's a manufacturer built, purpose-built race car. So there's been a lot of R&D gone into the car. The manufacturers operate in a very similar way. Their technical support at the track is phenomenal. And yeah, the way the championship sort of feels, the way the car works in terms of holding its value and stuff, definitely feels akin to a Clio, just a lot more expensive than Clio.
And have you, going away from Porsches for a second, have you got a goal to get to like Le Mans if you ever wanted to, or any other race series you want to race?
Yeah, I would love to go and race at Le Mans, and given the opportunity, I'd absolutely jump at it. But I think the opportunity to go and do something like that, is not currently there for me. Not saying that it won't be ever, but I think my goal at the moment is really just to continue racing and continue enjoying it. I think I'll have some good opportunities next year, maybe to go and do some collab racing. So that might lead towards doing something like Le Mans. But at the moment, it's a few steps away, but it's definitely something that I would love to go and do. So yeah, watch it with a close eye and see what opportunity comes along. I think going to race something like GT World Challenge is maybe more achievable in the sort of shorter term, and then see where we go.
Yeah, because that all sounds awesome, and I know with you being so well known in the motorsport paddock, you would definitely be given a chance. Definitely.
Yeah, it's it's about putting yourself in the right place, um, and the opportunity will eventually sort of come up. So I think I'm maybe lining myself up with something that an opportunity that I can maybe go and do something like that with. But we'll see down the line.
I know it will happen.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the best way is to just keep putting in performances like I did at Thruxton, and then being around the circuits and coaching and that sort of thing will inherently lead to getting some opportunities. So each year and through Porsche Carrera Cup, then the phone does ring from time to time with something that I can go and do. So hopefully that continues through this off season and into next.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And for any of our viewers who also don't know, Max is the circuit manager at Croft, which I'd love to know more details of how your day-to-day goes there.
Yeah, so my role there is actually as business development manager. So I'm generally at Croft a day a week. The rest of my time is spent away from Croft. Sometimes it's at Croft, sometimes it's not. If I've worked on an event and bringing an event to the circuit, then I generally try and be there for that event. But yeah, that my role is as business development manager. The aim is to bring in new business and develop more business with those that we currently already have as customers, and look at ways and opportunities for them to be able to do more at the circuit. So that's kind of my role there. This week is a relatively atypical week. So arrived back from Thruxton late on Sunday night. Turned the motorhome and van round to go to Donington for Tuesday. Was running the Ginetta on Tuesday at Donington, and then Wednesday jumped across to Snetterton coaching in a Porsche there today. Back to Donington tomorrow for testing in the Porsche Carrera Cup car, and then Friday, all being well, we'll be back at Croft and in the office there, working on some projects. Trying to work on some stuff with Caterham at the moment. We've got some of the corporate events that are looking at using the circuit, so I've got sort of follow-ups to do from that, and see what we can get going.
That's mega. And because you sound like you, even though I already know, but you are literally the busiest man in motorsport.
Yeah, I certainly a busy guy. Don't know whether I'm the busiest man in motorsport, but I'm certainly busy. So track to track. You're trying to operate and run sort of the sponsorship program as well. We've got now a pretty hectic end to the sort of schedule of racing this year in Porsche Carrera Cup. So pretty much every 2 or 3 weeks a race event. Donington, Croft, Silverstone, and Brands Hatch will all be fairly busy events for me. A lot of my sponsors are sort of Midlands or further up north, so we'll have 20-ish guests probably at maybe 10 to 20 at Donington, probably 20 to 30 at Silverstone, and similar at Brands, and anywhere between 200 and 350 at Croft. So there's quite a lot of work to do in organising all that. So I'm working on that in between being out on track and coaching and testing and all that sort of thing. So yeah, busy, but it's good. If you want to race and you want to do this, then you've got to be a busy guy, and you've got to try and manage that with a little bit of downtime and a bit of home life. So working on that as well.
So yeah, for any young listeners listening, it shows how much dedication you've got to put into this sport if you really want to succeed, like Max is right now.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to say yes to so many opportunities. Sometimes you don't necessarily know how they're going to work out, but you typically go for anything. So, graft at it, say yes to stuff, get yourself to a track, because that's where the magic happens.
Definitely. And
No, I mean, I think it's great that you're doing this podcast. It's great to be on it and be able to sort of share a bit of my story and what's going on. So that's really nice. So thanks for the opportunity to do so, and hopefully people will follow along. So if you're interested in what my racing is and what I'm doing, then you'll find me on any of the social medias as down as Max Coach Racing, and feel free to drop me a message or come and say hello at a race meeting, and it'd be nice to meet some people that have listened to the podcast.
thanks, Max. And for anyone who doesn't follow Max, what's your @ on social media again, Max?
Yeah, it's all pretty much at Max Coach Racing. So if it doesn't come up with that, search for that, and you'll find me there. There'll be a blonde-haired lad looking happy on a Porsche podium or something like that. So that'll be me.
Awesome. And thank you for listening to this episode, guys. Thank you.